It's Monday, May 10th, 2021. I was reading a few articles this morning, and I'm going to share these articles with all of you this afternoon. They're very concerning. 98% of you watching this channel are very awake, knowledgeable. You know what's going on. You know what's happening in the economy. Yet there are people out there who continuously watch this channel, who continue to be naive, continue to be in denial and even ignorant to a point, but they continue to watch. So I pray for these people. I hope all of you are praying for these people, that they begin to wake up. You know, the truth sometimes is scary, and denial is a powerful emotion. And people, they get triggered when the truth hurts. And they get very, very triggered when it's something they don't want to hear. Yet, they won't stop watching, so that's a good thing. And I hope that they continue to watch. They can criticize me, they can call me names, judge me, but they're more than invited to continue to watch because I care about everybody. I don't care what color you are, what religion you are, what gender you are. I care for everybody watching this video today, because I don't want to see anybody, no matter who they are, get hurt. And there are going to be so many people that are going to be financially wiped out when this collapse is done. It's already begun. And it is going to accelerate at one point, and it's not going to stop. It's going to be relentless, and people are really going to get hurt. So I don't care who you are, where you came from, what your background is, what color you are, race, religion, anything. I care that you are preparing, that you are getting ready, because I don't want to see anybody get hurt. And that goes for the people who like to judge me, criticize me, and tell me I'm wrong. That's fine. But you're watching, and you're not going to stop watching because you know it's the truth. Shocking chart shows most workers now make more on unemployment than from their jobs. This is on The Hedge today. This should be concerning to everybody out there. And do your own homework, do your due diligence, go to The Hedge, check this out, Google this article. America is becoming a welfare state, no doubt about it. And we have a real big problem here. When I read an article like this, the real jobs in America left decades ago. They went over to Asia, they're gone, they're not coming back. And we're still living like we're a first world country, even though we're the biggest debtor nation on planet Earth, even though we're just an economy of consumption. We just consume and consume with money we don't even have. 40% of Americans don't even have $400 saved up. Half this country lives, 80% of this country lives paycheck to paycheck. And half this country is now dependent on government subsidy. Yet we call ourselves a first world country. And I think reality is beginning to catch up to America. And I think we're going to see a time in America where America could become a third world country without a doubt. You cannot have this much debt. You cannot be running deficits like this. You cannot be subsidizing half your population and be a first world country. This is going to end very, very badly. The government is printing so much money and it's doing so much damage. Just look at the prices at the store. Everything is going up. And most of you already know this. To the people out there who don't believe this, you need to wake up. You need to get out of the matrix. You need to get out of the little bubble you're in. You need to wake up, because you're going to be a statistic here. You're going to be an economic victim here if you do not wake up very, very soon. Paying people not to work means there's no recovery, and there will be no recovery as long as you pay people to stay at home. And even if you're not paying people to stay at home, what kind of recovery is there when we're not making anything? Again, you cannot be a first world country when most of your economy is based on the service sector. You know, out of those 266,000 jobs that were created last month, even though they expected 1 million, we got 266. 187,000 of those were restaurant workers. How in the world is America going to lead the world in anything if all we're doing is creating restaurant jobs? We cannot support a first world economy on restaurant jobs. Small business owners are competing with unemployment benefits, and they're going to lose because they don't have a printing press in the back room that they can just, siphon out money to give to people to come back to work. Yet the government does. They're going to have to raise prices in order to pay people to come back to work. And what does that mean? That means that the consumer, you and I, are going to have to pay more at the restaurant, more at the store. So what is the answer here? It seems that $15 an hour, if we pay everybody $15 an hour, everybody will go back to work. That's the answer. $15 an hour is nothing, especially here in California, San Francisco, Orange County, LA, San Diego. It's absolutely nothing. You go to New York City, $15 is nothing. So is the answer $25 an hour? Will everybody be able to survive on $25 an hour? See, this is the problem that nobody wanted to talk about years ago, and it's called money printing, quantitative easing, and the results of all this debt creation, and it's inflation. This is why like $10 an hour now doesn't buy anything. $4 for a gallon of gas today, okay? You go to LA, it's gonna be $5. You go to the East Coast, it may be more now because of the cyber attack. We're seeing massive inflation. And so when we pay people $25 an hour, by the time we do that, it won't even matter because, everything will have gone up. The problem now is the inflation is beginning to run out of control. And so we just believe that we're gonna just have to keep paying people more and more, raise the price of goods and services. And this is where the rubber meets the road. This is where problems begin to rear their ugly heads. Inflation, it's not gonna go away. And so we should have thought about all of this before, we were just printing money, before we printed, the trillions of dollars to bail out after the 2008 crash, the trillions, the $8 trillion now that we just printed for the last crisis, $8 trillion, and take a look at what you've gotten for your money. Take a look at what you got for your money. Unemployment at 25.7%. More people sitting at home now than going to work, inflation running wild. The genie, I think, now has been let out of the bottle, ladies and gentlemen, and it's going to be a big problem. And so $15 an hour is not going to fix the problem. We got to get our head around this inflation problem. And until we do that, you're not going to be able to pay people enough money. Friday I talked about the U.S. payroll number. They were expecting 1 million new jobs last month. We got 266,000 new jobs that were created last month. 187,000 of those jobs were in the restaurant industry. And how in the world are we going to be a world superpower if everybody is working at a restaurant, everybody's working at a coffee shop, everybody's working in the service sector? If we're not making things, we're not making steel, we're not making aluminums and plastics, and we're not manufacturing electronics here and chips here, I'm sorry, I don't see how America stays in the first world. The Hedge today, visualizing what $50,000 in lumber can build today versus last year. This was astonishing, ladies and gentlemen. Over the last year, lumber has increased 377%. How in the world are people going to keep up with these prices working in the service sector? Ask yourself that. Look at the credit card debt that has been exploding in February, March, April. $50,000 back in 2020 could build 10 single-family units at 2,300 square feet. That's 14,496 board feet of lumber. This year, it builds 2 single-family units. Think about that. How are people, how's the average American, the average consumer going to keep up with these prices? People told us that, there's going to be no inflation in America. JB, you don't know what you're talking about. Stop with all this, doom and gloom and inflation talk. People were telling me this 6 months ago. People were telling me this a few months ago, a year ago. And now I'm paying $4 for a gallon of gas. I go to the grocery store, look at the price of seafood, look at the price of steak. It's astronomical. You want to go to the dentist and get your teeth cleaned, it's insane. You want to go to Disneyland I think it's $150 for a day, for a one-day pass. It's ludicrous what is going on. But just the cost of food, electricity going up, water bill going up, trash collection going up, car insurance going up, you name it. It's all going up. Now, somebody will tell me, oh, the price of big screen TVs has gone down. That's wonderful. But guess what? I use water every day. I use trash every day. I use gasoline every day. I consume food every day. These things that really, really count, everything that really, really matters. I don't care about a TV. I can live without a TV. But the things that matter that I depend on daily to survive, everything is going up. The Paycheck Protection Program is officially out of money. I talked about this a few days ago. This is another big problem because the problems are just beginning, yet the Paycheck Protection Program is out of money. We're not even gonna see the problems begin until this fall. When these landlords demand that their rent and their leases be paid on these restaurants and these retailers and these business owners, tenants are unable to pay, and there's no more triple P money, big problems, ladies and gentlemen, big problems. People just believe because, people are back out, outside eating at the restaurants and, we're at 50% capacity. You might be 100% capacity where you're at 75%, maybe 25%, depending where you're at. Looks may be deceiving because guess what? More than likely, the restaurant that you're eating at is probably at least 10 months behind on their rent. And guess what? The landlord hasn't forgotten. Article today by Michael Snyder. If we were experiencing severe shortages now, how bad will things get when the economy starts tanking again? This is just going to be relentless, ladies and gentlemen. Business Insider published a list of the most serious shortages. Here's a few of them. Computer chips, used cars, gas, plastics, palm oil, truckers, homes, lumber, toilet paper, furniture, chicken, bacon, hot dogs, cheese, coffee, chlorine, and corn, just to list a few. Now, we have too many dollars that are chasing too few goods and services, and this is creating tremendous inflation, ladies and gentlemen. And this is also creating very, very painful shortages. My question is, what does this look like when the bubbles begin to burst in the bond market, the stock market, the crypto market, the real estate market, you name it? What happens when the bubbles begin to burst? And we're seeing shortages right now like this. What are people gonna do when reality shows its face? What are people gonna do when things begin to get really ugly? These are the good times. I mean, even though we have already begun the depression, we've begun the collapse, this is just the second inning. We're still in somewhat good times. But what is gonna happen when you go to your mall and 90% of it is vacant, when you go to your outdoor shopping areas and 70, 80, 90% of it is vacant, half the restaurants in America could be gone, maybe more. When you can't get the goods and services that you need, when prices continue, like if you think things are expensive right now, wait till you see what's coming. And this is why it is imperative that everybody out there is preparing, that you have some gold, that you have some silver, and that you have some cash put away. I don't give financial advice, but I am sharing with you what I'm doing, the advice that I share to my family and friends, and what most people I know in my circle are all doing, because they see what is going on and they see the end result here. And it's going to be a very, very miserable time for millions of people, yet there's going to be big opportunity also because we are going to see massive sales in real estate. And there's going to be sales in the stock market. Everything is going to be going on sale at some point, ladies and gentlemen. But I believe that we haven't seen anything yet. I believe that the stock market is completely overvalued, the crypto market, the bond market, the real estate market. And when one of these bubbles pops, I believe it's going to set off all the rest of the bubbles. All you need is one pin to pop one bubble, and the next bubble will pop and pop and pop and pop. And it's going to result in very, very hard times for most people who depended on the system, trusted in the system, put all their eggs in one basket, bet on these Ponzi schemes, believe that a crypto that was made up as a joke is going to save them during an economic collapse, save them during a depression. So many people continue to speculate, meaning gamble, when people right now don't need to be gambling. They need to be preparing. They need to be holding real things. They need to be holding cash, gold, silver, and other preparations. This is not the time to speculate. This is not the time to gamble, because it is, to me, is clear as day that everything is overvalued, that we are witnessing the biggest bubbles that continue to inflate on a daily basis. How much longer can they go? I have no idea. But I can promise you that all bubbles pop at some point, and these will be no different. You know, they always say it's different this time. Before any economic collapse, before any depression, before any currency collapse, they always say it's different this time. And people tell me this all the time. JB, it's different this time. It's different this time. No, it's not different this time. The only thing that's different this time is people like me and you out there are going to be much more prepared this time around to take advantage of the opportunity that's coming. This time around, we're going to be much more prepared to make sure that we're not victims of this economic collapse. God bless every one of you. Have a wonderful day. Stay safe out there and make sure that you're all continuing to prepare.